Squat mobility is super important between every set of your squats. Remember, when you squat, you're gonna have different limitations depending on your body type and depending on where you're tight. Mobilize the ankle, mobilize the hip flexor, mobilize the adductors in the groin. All of those are gonna make a difference in your squat pattern. So between every set, remember there's 4 different squat mobilities that I want you to attempt to do, and whatever feels good for you is what I want you to use as your go-to. So first, when my calves are super tight, I can't pry my knees forward. When I squat, I need to be able to do that to get low. So simple, press the heel down, hold for a few seconds, switch, press the heel down, hold so you feel a nice stretch of the calves. Just don't hold a static stretch for too long. Try to push that heel down and make sure that your calves are not locked up. Pigeon stretch to get the hip. Pigeon stretch on the bench, but memorize you want to mobilize the hip socket. So your big circles forward, big circles back, and you're just trying to mobilize the hip socket so that your glutes are not locking up while you're squatting. So if that's your go-to, use that. Also, we have the goblet. So you can use a dumbbell, you can use a kettlebell, but we're using this to counterbalance the weight of your body. Your feet should be slightly narrow. Drop your hips down. You can hold like so, or you can hold here, whatever's comfortable. But you want it kind of tight to your body. I want you to use your elbows to literally pry your hips apart. This should suck. Enjoy the suck. Push those hips apart, pry side to side, keep those heels down. A little forward and back movement, bring it to the chest, stand, shake it out, drop it down. Do a few more of those, and then you have your hip flexor moves. So mobilizing your hip, coming forward and pulling back, squeezing the glutes to emphasize the opening of the hip flexor. Remember, if you have a band, tie a band behind your hip. That will emphasize the stretch a little bit more. Remember, we're trying to, instead of just stretch, we're trying to mobilize the socket so that you can get a better squat pattern. Have fun.